just want to see. Hi, by the way. I just want to see. Yeah, if there's anything spiking, it'd be GPU. It'd be video encode. 80-something% Ethernet's usage spikes as well. Just for a little bit. Memory spikes. Not spikes, but it's solidly rose. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at my task manager just to see. But yeah, no. Hi. I'm here. I should check the damn stream to see what it sounds like. Okay, yeah, we're good. So Pokemon Sun. When was my last stream? My last stream was... I love this opening. We're gonna let it go. It's fucking awesome. Oh, the title screen. Okay, that's not good talk. Alrighty. Actually, let me look. It's kind of different. It's in order of when we got them on mine, and I think I might just keep it that way, honestly. All right, we back. Just making sure everything's normal. We want this as far in as possible. Okay, that sounds great. Live, the last live was 3 weeks ago, almost 4. That was 4 hours. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to it. We got some stuff to do. Let's see. Yeah, we got some stuff to do. So, this part will be going to our grand trial. But before we do that, we have to go to Diglett's cave. I'm trying to figure. I don't have an arm. I have it resting on top of something this big. I'm hoping that it's close enough while it's like this. Let me see. Is this great? Is this good? It sounds like okay. It might be, but I think I might want it like this. Maybe. I might want it like this. Alright. So, like I was saying, we'll be going through Diglett's cave for this part. Jesus Christ, now my headphones are tangled and everything. Hold on, give me a second. Alright. There we go. Not resting evenly some stuff, but that's good. So yeah, we are going to our grand trial this part. And that means that first we have to go through Diglett's cave. We have a full team. Oh. Yeah, we have a full team. This one here is going to be more special, like defensively oriented, but I don't really mind having a bit of a tank on the team. I just need you to do damage when damage is necessary, that's all. And like we could talk about, we're definitely going to talk about other stuff if this is going to be a 2 to 4 hour stream. But yeah. So I'm here now. Why did it do that? Why did it drop frames? It spiked. Something just spiked. I want to see. I mean, it's at 86 now, and it's bouncing between 85 and 86. But yeah, that's hitting a 90 something. I think I have a T4 RTX 4090. I should maybe upgrade that. I mean, it's working okay, I guess. Maybe I just need to find an encoder that works better. Any tips on that? Let me know. But yeah, we will be going through Alola's Diglett's cave. And yeah. I just want to see the team real quick. We got someone close to being their final evolution. I think we got two, actually. One of them isn't going to be their final evolution until goddamn the last island, so fantastic. The other ones, I think we should be close for them as well. Hello, Vulcan. It's still early for me to think about the layout for that. I'll be talking about a few things. Yeah, you know what? Just to not be here for a long ass time, we're just gonna talk and move, I guess. But the last thing I want to do is see Pokepola. See what's going on there. See, if, obviously my berries are going to have been done. Oh, hello. I will load the game back up tomorrow and see the sizes. Careful magnum. I love this. This is so cool. Let's see. My berries are done. What's going on now? Yep. Put some beans in there. Those are the only ones I have. So we're going to develop. Can't phase 3 or actually, yeah, I can develop shit because I don't have enough Pokemon. Okay. Alright, that was cool. Alright, let's get to it. Actually, so because of the fact that we're going into a cave, I think it would be a good idea for you to be up front, and we'll switch into Veronia, I think was her name. Yeah. Once we need to switch into somebody, hopefully she'll be able to carry her weight. We're gonna need these two for the next trial, so yep. Of course it's Zubat. I know this thing can learn Ice Beam, that's it. It gets a few moves. So everyone else is liable to take super effective damage from something, and then she's the one up front, so I don't want her to... It might be a good idea to catch this. Assuming it doesn't perish. Okay, well... Yeah. Hey, level 29. She only has 2 forms, so I'm not gonna let her do that just yet. Not till we leave the second island. Okay, let's see what's happening here. So this is our first time, not our first time, but our first time in story for mandatory stuff seeing them. Alright, yep. As she said, it's time to get through the tunnel. So we'll be looking for shit, because, want items. Give me that. Dusk Ball? Night or in caves? I don't think this'll go long enough where I can use this outside. I don't think so. It's Diglett. Fish. Yeah, I got it already. Yeah. Goodbye. Nice Jupiter. So there's a few things. The next, just get a trainer in here. The next set of videos, I'm kind of conflicted on which will go when. Alright, word her friend. Because on top of being a Pokemon fan, I'm also a Sonic fan, and his birthday is next month. And it's still early enough in the month where I'm trying to decide what I want to do for that. There won't be as much, because it's really not... It's a few things. It's, excuse me. There's really not as much to speculate on with Sonic. All we know is that they've been real quiet recently, way too quiet, so something's happening. We just don't know what. We can talk about leaked stuff, but all we have is a name, so there really isn't much to say. Okay, I beat all the trainers in the tunnel thing. But yeah, no, but back to that. Ooh, rocks. So there isn't much to talk about, and then what I could talk about for something like, let's say, Sonic Frontier sequel, or whatever the next game would be. I think I talked about all that enough in my thoughts for Frontiers, and I completely forgot I had these. In my thoughts for Frontiers, or you know, lead up to Generations, Shadow Generations. And since we don't have that officially, I don't know if I want to keep those. So what it might be is just two kinds of videos. It might just be like a speed draw of a 35th anniversary picture, and then why I love Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, like I did those two for Pokemon around when their 30th was happening earlier this year. Okay, it sleeps in caves during the day. It has no eyes. Chicken surroundings are flying in their ultrasonic waves. Okay. Go in the box. But yeah, no, so that might be what I end up doing, if only because we have no news. Now, if there is news at all, right, that happens anytime soon, you know, mid to late May, early, mid, late June, then absolutely I'll be covering it. I actually haven't covered a Sonic thing in a while, I don't think. I think the last one, yeah, the last time I uploaded Sonic-related stuff, I believe, was, these guys. Well, I'm on the Choros for this. See, they work on Pokemon conservation, apparently. Yeah, I'm aware. Interesting. But yeah, no, I think the last time I another big one. I think the last time that I posted something Sonic related was mid last year, if not early last year. I think we might be around a year since then, assuming I didn't post another video of my custom Sonic levels over summer, okay, no, that's a lie. I completely forgot we did the Forces playthrough. But that, I think, oh, that's, okay, yeah, that's just not ridiculous doing. The last time I did something, because actually that playthrough's around a year old, so even if we did count that, if I did nothing else since then for the channel, I think then we're approaching a year. But we recorded that in July, I think. Yeah, we did, because we did that when we got back. But let's look. So before that, it was Colors in terms of videos. Colors was in July. We uploaded Forces in January, because that was the thing that helped me be able to get all the stuff down for Pokemon. In terms of live stuff, the last time anything Sonic related was on here was a while. Yeah, it was my test stream about 9 months ago, maybe 10. So it's been a bit. But I will be doing something. It just depends on what it is. Because I do like the series too. It's just, you know, there's a lot less to talk about in comparison to this one. And you know, until they have something to talk about, for me, it's not really going to be, you know, able to do much except for videos showcasing levels, which I'm not really sure if I want to do because I'm never really gonna post them. You know, like, we'll see. I'm really enjoying the one I'm currently working on. Well, one of the two I'm currently working on. The other one just kind of fell on the wayside because I've been trying to do a proper workflow for the one I'm doing right now, and it's actually worked out really well. Even sketching the stage in a notebook. At the look of it in a big sketchbook, and then the actual layout in the notebook. It's in 2D, so I do have to do some... it's a 2D sketch of a 3D level, so I do have to do some, you know, I do have to improvise some depth when I put things into it. I mean, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with just a straight obstacle course type Sonic stage. But I did try to do more alternate. I do want to try to do more alternate paths than what I have already. But that's for when I have all this basic stuff down and put in the stage and it all works. And then I'll likely, once I finish major sections of this, I'll likely go back to the other one. That one has some issues a little bit. But yeah, so I'll be doing that. But, you know, I'll likely get back into it whenever there's something new. My interest will fade in and out if there's nothing. If there's nothing happening, my interest will fade in and out. I always like it, and I love playing the games. I'll just play Generations, Shadow Generations, Sonic Generations, whichever. You know, and I'll make level progress on mine. I think there's only one that I really can't make progress on, and I'm kind of just debating. It takes forever to load and forever to export, and I absolutely know what the reason is. So I think Are you serious? Are you gonna? Okay, there we go. And I think I'm debating if I want it. So it's like the base of the stage, like the floor. It's a city, so it's like this whole... Ha ha! Oh, it's goddamn hot shot. At risk of dying. Send it. Yes. Child is here. Hey. Essentially. Yeah. I have the noise reduction on because when I would start the stream, it would rain, especially in early Pokemon Live. It would start raining and it would rain real hard. And you could hear it. I was like, that's not great. Alright, child's gone now. Sup, Joseph? Yeah, but it becomes Toucannon, and Toucannon's one of the best early game bird Pokemon in the series. They really hit it out of the park, I think 3 times. Well, 2 times, maybe 3 times at all. Because Toucannon is, or 4 if you really like Talonflame. Because Talonflame was the first flying fire route bird, like the first time they did anything that wasn't normal flying. Then there was this one, which is still normal flying, but has a really cool signature move. That's not a route one. And then Corviknight started existing the gen after, so that's the 3. Yes, it's fantastic. And, like, I don't use it, but I like Wattrel and Kilowattrel from Paldea. It's just, if I had to choose an electric between... Because there are 2 early game electric types. There's Wattrel and Kilowattrel, and there's the Palmy line, which is the Pikachu clone that not only actually evolves, but gains another typing, that being electric fighting. That typing that people thought Zeraora might be. Well, that's why it was called a Pikachu clone. It broke the rules for a Pikachu clone. That might be part of the reason why it's just better outright than all of them. Like, obviously, there's like a looks thing, but I think Palmy outright is just probably the best. With no arms. It's just outright, I think, like, use-wise, the best Pikachu clone, period. Like, maybe in some fringe cases, like Togedemaru and Morpeko might be up there. But that's to be expected because they actually started making them worth a damn. They started making Pokemon worth it. People love the actual Pikachu clone in lore than the actual Pikachu clone, like gameplay wise in Alola. Yeah. So you have these bastards. Incredible. But yeah, I was just talking about current stuff, current plans for what I'm doing. I do have a couple videos to make for Sonic's 35th birthday. If I'm gonna do those, I gotta start within the next week. There might not be any Pokemon things related. We do know through, leaks and rumors that nothing that was revealed during the Terra leak has been canceled. So that means that Project Seed, that multi-region MMO, is still on. Thank God. That is like the best chance we have at having remakes of Kanto and of Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh that have all the forms and evolutions for all the Pokemon from it. And then apparently they're supposed to be adding Kitakami as well, because that is also a Japan region. If they flesh that out, cool. If they don't, I don't care. I'm more focused on the stuff with the regions that already exist. And otherwise, I just want to see what the hell they do with that shit, because that sounds interesting. We know what the third Legends game will be, because they started it around when ZA was done. It looks like they'll be bouncing back and forth between the past and the future, likely. The next game is Legends Gala. It will likely take place around the darkest day of 2,000 years ago, if I have my timeline right. I'm excited for that, but we won't see any of that really for a while. This year is likely going to be other than Champions and Pokopia, which were early this year, like 2 months ago at absolute latest. We're about to get approximately nothing, most likely. I think our next major Champions update that actually adds shit will probably be after Worlds, the World Championship. And those happen, I think, late August. Anyway, I put them in the ground. Cooked. But yeah, I am excited for that. I really do want to see. What are you giving me? Let's see, an ether. I really do want to see what they do with that, though. That right there, that and the customization being normal are like my only asks for that, because those are the only things that I felt were kind of that were the closest to a disappointment that I had with the most recent remakes, that being Let's Go and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I didn't have a problem with their style specifically because they were trying to emulate like the games that they were remaking, and I think they pulled it off real well. I think out of the two, I prefer Let's Go's style of stuff, but I'm not gonna lie and say that they didn't do at least an okay job with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearls, trying to be Diamond and Pearls. But if they're doing it the way I think they are, right? And I'm hoping they do, then that will be the first time we'll most likely see a full 3D. Yes. But yeah, once, like, that'll be the first time we'll be seeing all three of those regions in full 3D if they decide to go that route. That'll be the first time in over 10 years we go to Hoenn. The first time in over 20 we go to Johto. And Johto will be in 3D for the first time, period. Let alone shit, he's gonna use the Z move, isn't he? Okay, let me see if I can burn it. I could not. You take me the full might of this move. Fucked up part is I think the flying type Z crystal isn't until Weekend. I think in Jesus. I think in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon you might be able to get it a little bit earlier, maybe. But I know in Sun and Moon it is an outright like end game crystal, like the ice type one. But yeah, back to the MMO thing. I'm excited for that. Hold on. Spicy. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, my real thing with that MMO is character customization and having all the forms and evolutions for Pokemon from the region. Like, obviously, no. Like, obviously, you can't be there, like, why isn't Annihilate been Let's Go when it came out 2 generations later, right? But then there's stuff like, okay, you can't find the Alolan Pokemon actually or get them. Yeah, like, you can't have your Pokemon evolving, right? Okay, and I was like, all right, cool. And then there's like, okay, Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon are in the game. But Espeon, Umbreon, Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon are not. They have moves that reference them in the game, but they themselves are not in the game. That's a bit questionable. Steelix not being there is... Like, Megas are in. So that means Pokemon in that... So that means, like, there are some Pokemon that just weren't able to use a Mega that their family has. Like Scyther. Scyther has one. Onix could become Steelix. Steelix has a Mega. Like, a lot of them had their Megas, like Kangaskhan, Mewtwo. But that's just the ones that were in the game already. Or like, what's another one? There was another one. Electabuzz and Magmar are one of the bigger ones. Hey, let's go. Because, like, Magmortar, Electivire were nowhere to be seen. Magby and Elekid were nowhere to be seen in Let's Go, and they were around for 20 years before... Right? It was... No, for 10 years. 12 years, before Let's Go came out. So, and it's the same thing with, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, just to a lesser extent, because it's not just the Kanto decks, it was everything up to Sinnoh. And then, like Johto, no trainer has had the chance, whether it be player or NPC, has had the chance to have a Pokemon past Sinnoh in Johto. You could say the same thing for Kalos in Hoenn. And Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl didn't have any Gen 8 Pokemon in it. Which in itself is crazy, because you would have thought, oh, especially with Legends Arceus coming out, even if what we assume their internal plan happened where it came out a year beforehand, or even like 6 months beforehand instead of the 3 or 2 it got, like, there were no Hisuian forms at all in that game even. So I think that MMO is like the best possible chance of all of that happening, of having all the evolutions and forms of Pokemon that existed in those regions. And then they could even have a couple new Pokemon because of the fact that Kitsukami most likely is going to be part of it. Assuming that entirely. We know it's in development, we don't know if stuff is going to be changed of that development. But yeah, that's the best possible chance of having that, and even then, that won't last anyway, because let's assume, right, that this comes out after Gen 10, so some Gen 10 Pokemon will also be, Gen 10 forms and evolutions, because some Pokemon end up in that game, right, Winds and Waves. That will immediately be outdated, like, the next game after. Even if we assume that, like, Legends Galar comes out afterwards, it will then immediately be outdated because of that game. If any Pokemon before Galar gets something. So so it's not to say that, like, we need to have every Pokemon in when we go to a region. Right, they don't need to go back and, I think these are tied to evolution, so I can get away with just holding off on that. But yeah, no, it's not like we need to go back to a region every couple years, because, by the way, we're here. Yeah, it's not like we need to stop at a region that we've already been to every 3-4 years, because a new Pokemon comes out. But I think it's cool to revisit those regions every once in a while with, like, new tech upgrades, and new, the new directions that the series takes, whether they be large, like the last time we went to any of these regions and where we're at right now, or small stuff, like, maybe the animations for our characters got a bit better, maybe baby voice acting was added, stuff like that. I think maybe once every like 10 or so years. Especially if they're doing all the regions, because that means that now there will be a precedent. So, you know, like the fact that Kitakami might be included is something is actually partially is actually really good. And that can also lead to if they set anything in Japan again, right? Then 10 years later there would be a reason to go back, because we would get to see. We would not only get to see how they would update their previous regions, but we could also get to see how that fits together with the other ones as well. We're not going to run out of Pokemon nor regions because of how large this place is, like the planet we live on, and how many like animals and objects and folklore stories exist in real life. And given the fact that everything in Pokemon is based off of stuff like that, as well as personalities of people and different problems people face, this series can hypothetically go on for fucking even at the rate they're going, having whole like countries be regions instead of just like small, like, what would you call them, like small areas of a place. We're still looking at what? How many countries are there in the... Actually, let me look this up. How many countries are there in the world? They're generally considered to be 195 countries in the world. $195. That's countries, right? Then you have things like what they did with Japan, what they did with the United States, and breaking them down province or state by state. So yeah, no, that is, we are not finishing anytime soon. And I think I'm also ready for that, just to finally get a concrete map of that place, of how those regions fit together. Because, like, I'm not really all that into that, like, the world map stuff. That's for other people. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested in how that could all work together. Otherwise, yeah, Legends Galar. I mean, oh yeah, here we are. Coney, I think, is that how you say it? Like, so much busier than it actually is. And the thing is, right, like, I like... So actually, this is something. I'm interested to see what stuff Winds and Waves takes from... And the MMO takes from the end. Because regardless of how people felt about it, there was still, like, stuff added to it that wasn't in games before, that they were trying out. Like, regardless of how you feel about the city being the only place, and it being, like, one model and shit... I think, like, objectively, it's one of the better built cities in the series. Yeah, better built cities in the series? I think, yeah, that was, did I say that? If I didn't say that, that was what I meant. Really much of a use for any of these. I mean, Shadow Claw maybe, and Dragon Tail maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. And it was close. But first, there's gonna be some stuff we can do at the post game for this place. But yeah, no. Like, oh yeah. So like, I think that Lumios was like, from ZA, is one of the best built cities in the series, because it, like, first off, it's actually the size of a city, right? No. Alright, yeah, so that's... Alright, thank you. But yeah, I keep getting well, coffee. It's one of the better built cities in the series. It's actually the size of a city, and like I enjoy the layering for it. Not just like the base city isn't just all a flat plain anymore. Like there's actual elevation to it, but then getting on top of the roofs and stuff. Like the only thing I was really missing was more involved sewers. And I say more involved because I was expecting to not be in the sewers up until we saw it in one of the trailers. And I think that was the closest to a normal dungeon in that game, barring the Lysandra Cafe. So I think having like the Lysandra Cafe, okay. The Lysandra Cafe was fine on its own. I think the sewers should have probably been a little bigger. Had it, especially since I think Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was like 3 years before that. So when I saw that, my first thought was, is it like the underground in that, where you essentially have 3 levels that are all the same size? In retrospect, that was kind of dumb for me to even entertain, but I think that's a good idea. You know, I think, but the fact that it has it is great. Oh wow. Yeah, I think the fact that it has it is great. There's all the missions. There's even like the fact that the whole city is available to you at the start, but all the stuff that you'd want in the city kind of shows up over time. Like that's cool. I think, and they'll likely keep doing the thing of there's one large central city that does all that, and then the smaller ones that are kind of just there. But like, you know, there was that stuff. Then there was like NPC stuff. You would see people walking around, and it happens more actually toward the end. There are people that just have their Pokemon with them. They're just running around. That didn't happen before. It's Scarlet and Violet. We got NPCs walking. Now the next step is having those exist out. Why am I standing here? The next step is having those exist outside of the area. Actually, this is leading into one of the videos that I thought about doing. Maybe not this year, but like right before Pokemon Day of next year, right? Like, kind of like how I did Pokemon Week this year. Next year's would likely be a smaller version of that. There likely wouldn't be, you know, a speed draw or speed paint. There likely wouldn't be a wildlife Pokemon because I mean, come on now. That's likely to wait until the next big anniversary, so likely like the 40th or not 40th, 35th anniversary for when I, you know, Pissimian and Lush. Okay. So we need to find Pissimian. Do I have anything to sell? Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, like a Pokemon Week for next year likely won't be as much as this year's. There is a non-zero chance that Pokemon Let's Go might go on that long. It might not. I'm not sure. I like to sell. There's a non-zero chance that it does. But on the off chance it does, I'm aiming to have, assuming it does go that long, I'm aiming to have Let's Go end around then. You know, assuming it does end around then. Because it could end toward the end of, realistically speaking, Let's Go isn't going to finish. If we are, I've just broken to the 30th in terms of editing. At current, I think we are on part, like the tomorrow's part is 24. It'll be another 24 to 27. It'll be another 3 weeks till we get to the end of the 4th section. We gotta go find Simeon, and then we can go look at clothes. There'll be another 4-ish weeks, or not 4, another 3 weeks till we're at the end of the. Oh, I didn't put Charizard's. Nope. Yeah, there'll be another like 4 weeks until that's Route 5. Yeah, there'll be another like 3 weeks until we hit the end of the 4th section. We've been getting a gym badge a session mainly because of how long each section is. The 4th one was the most recent session that we've done. We should be doing another session sometime soon, like not this week. I said not this week. How does Tuesday or Wednesday? Joseph gave the thumbs up, so that basically means it's happening. So like mid next week, like around this time next week, we'll be doing our 5th session. So I need to look for a fucking monkey. So like, but we'll like, I got 10 parts out of the last session. We jumped from 22, which was the end of the 3rd session, to 32. Which means we're 1 video short. That's a metapod. But also, like 10 parts for each. If we keep going, we will absolutely make it to 60 to 80 parts of Let's Go. Now, and then we got to think about the timing for this, right? If we go all the way to 32, we will be at the end of another Pomantis. We will be at the end of it by the time that happens, right? So assuming it's 3 parts and we have another, let's say we have another 30 parts, exactly half, make it 64. We still need, that's 10 weeks, so 1, 2, another 3 months. So at earliest, that ends in August. Potentially. Mid is like the end of the year, and late is like February. It might not make it there, but there's a non-zero chance it does. Especially if we run into any, that's another fun answer, especially if we run into any problems or we miss dates. Which I'm trying not to have happen, but it is what it is. I think it came up here already. Yeah, it did. We're trying to find Pet Simeon. I haven't done a lot of these, so I don't know. That's a Caterpie. I don't know where that would be. And I don't think I've run into one yet. You can always check the program. But yeah, if Let's Go is still going by then, Let's Go will definitely be one of them. The 30th, happy 30th anniversary bumper will remain on Pokemon videos up until well, the 31st anniversary, so up until February of next year. That will remain on there. I don't think I ran into it. I just needed to check to make sure. We've run into a large variety of Pokemon already, though. This is what I like about this. Is one of the things I like about later Pokemon is that like there's an actual variety you can run into, and you can catch most of these. Like some of them are exceedingly rare, but you can catch some of these, a good amount of these actually, before the halfway point of the game. One of my bigger problems with the earlier ones, like okay, grinding, it's annoying, but I'm like, you know, I can do that. It's just like, yeah, I can do that. It's not ideal, but I can do it. But it gets real hard to actually play the game when I'm stuck with trash at the start, and like I'm gonna try to make it work. But like, damn. Yeah, no. There's gonna be some stuff. I might do a video of like my ideal, what I would want in an ideal Pokemon game for me, and that's the big part for me. I'm just struggling to figure out what I might put on that. There, like, a Pokemon week for next year is absolutely going to be, speculation about the first Winds and Waves trailer since it was announced, because it's becoming increasingly likely we won't get anything for it this year. Not impossible, but it's also not impossible, but it's also not looking possible right now. The chances are low, but not zero. So, I'll be ready for if anything happens, but I'm also not too worried about it right now. Alright, so we got this. It attaches flowers to its highly nutritious vine. This revitalizes the flowers to give off aromatics. Get in the box. So it'll likely be like that. The speculation on Winds and Waves, and then if there's any news about like another side game, like I could probably do a short one talking about Champions and TCG Pocket and Pokemon Masters. Damn. The next champion stuff though likely won't. By the time that happens, the next champions, like major champions update. Oh wow. The next major champions update will likely have happened already, because now that I think about it, they usually announce something for the World Championships. And the World Championships this year is the first time that it won't be any major game. It'll be champions instead, and that's likely how it's going to be moving forward. Damn! Alright. That's likely how it's going to be moving forward. So... yeah, we'll likely be getting, like, obviously I think, like, World Championships of 27 will likely still have Winds and Waves news, but it likely will take a back seat, let's say, right? Because we get comparative, like, we get really low news, like, really low key stuff. Got low key. We get a small amount of news. Like for Scarlet and Violet, it was for Scarlet and Violet, we got the reveal of Cyclizar, which is a single stage Pokemon that you can find early in the game, and then like a new move. For the DLC, we got. DLC, we got the news that all the starters would end up in the game, and all this stuff is, we got news all the starters, and we got news on the remaining parts of the trio for Walking Wake. So, like it that stuff isn't necessarily small, I guess, but it wasn't a lot. It's just some stuff to look forward to, like, oh yeah, all the starters are coming. And, okay. Like, oh yeah, all the starters are coming back. There's the rest of this trio. Or no, not the old trio. They kept the third ones until the game came out, but they announced, I think, Raging Bolt and Iron Crown, I believe, were the ones that they announced. So, yeah, I do think that Winds and Waves will still have something next year. It'll just be a small thing in comparison to what they'll likely announce for Champions. Because Champions is a lot of catching up to. It has, like, its own Pokedex of 120, and they're all like, I think, final Evos or one single stage Pokemon. God damn this bird. But yeah, no, it's like, you know, yeah, Champions is a lot of catching. There's like 3 gimmicks it doesn't have. It doesn't have a good amount of the Pokemon in it, which, to be fair, there was really no reason to expect that would have everyone in at the start, especially. It's just this one's cool because they can, okay, there's no physical version, so it's not like anyone who buys a physical version will be left on version 1 when the servers go down. They have already stated they plan on supporting this, which means more updates, which means things like, I will kill you. Which means more things like, you know, eventually maybe the 6 versus 6 full team battles will end up in the game. Same with, you know, double battle. Hell, depending on what they decide to do, they might end up doing. This is a far stretch given how badly they were in the 3DS era, but they might do triple battles maybe, and I don't know if they want to do rotation battles. They could, like, the stuff they could do with Champions is crazy because they could do literally anything. It's part of the reason why I enjoy it so much. It's not just like, I think Champions, the most important thing for it at the start was to be what it needed to do, which was a competitive battling simulator. So that it could be fixed, so that all problems could be ironed out by the time the world it's supposed to be used at happens. After Worlds of this year, I can absolutely see them doing things like adding new. I can absolutely see them doing things like adding pre-evolutions and adding 6v6. And by 6v6, we mean like using your whole team in a battle. But I think that it coming out as just the competitive thing wasn't too much of a problem, especially since it was made real clear that that was what that was going to be. Like if it was like if it even alluded to a full 6v6 thing instead of just being a competitive thing, then sure. But competitive Pokemon never used the entire team, so when they said competitive, my first thought was competitive, which was 3 versus 3 or 4 versus 4 in the case of a double battle. But like, they could add multi-battles, they could add a bunch of other stuff. Hell, I think that it'd be a great idea to add a... What am I doing? I think it would be a good idea to add an legit battle simulator, which is something that I actually know Fan Project has actually ended up doing, where you could you like set up your team and an AI team and battle them like that and just choose the difficulty. You know, I think no Fan Project, I believe, has done that, and I think that'd be a cool thing for them to have, especially since they already have what is by far the most superior character customization in the series. Barring Sword and Shield, because it is Sword and Shield. No, not even barring Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield didn't have the different eye shapes and shit. So it's Sword and Shield, but with, you know, different eye shapes, which means it's better by proxy because it has more options. It's the same system with more options for what you can change. Now, the actual clothing options themselves are a bit limited right now, but just like with all that other shit, it's right now. That shit can change real fast, and will likely change often. Let's see, what will we put on her? You know what? Orange and white is her thing. So I think I'll leave the hat for right now. I'm gonna buy one of them. With an orange shoulder bag, I guess. I think we'll keep the white. We'll keep the white. We'll keep the white shirt. Get these shoes. Socks. And shorts. We'll go with this. Awesome. Yeah, not Champions. I think Champions is going to have some news at Worlds. I think that it is for it. Champions has a lot of benefits. Its start was rocky for the same reason I think that Unites was, which might not have been entirely its fault, but it was at least partially their fault. But yeah, I got to Champions. Like, I remember I got to Champions because I was talking about what stuff I would be talking about during Pokemon Week next year, and I mentioned that Champions would have already talked about. At the very least, they would have already talked about what they were adding. Pikachu. Yeah, it'd be like Winds and Waves stuff that, and I don't know. Maybe I could talk about like the leak stuff. Maybe. Yeah. It just depends. Moving on from that. And I did talk about the Sonic stuff. Well, likely won't be a week. Like, will just be a few videos because there's much to talk about there. We did kind of talk about our schedule with Let's Go, but just to but yeah, no. Back to like, okay, our schedule. So we got Let's Go going, right? Oh, we got a letter. Ends of life past Memorial Hill, what you can. Okay, yeah. So this is, we came here looking for a Kahuna, but she's actually at the ruins. So we'll go there. Yes. Listen. We got a max potion. I should also probably take stock of my held items. That'd be a good idea. Damn. Oh, my trainer passport. Okay, I did change the picture. I gotta go back into there and get some screenshots eventually. That'll be something I'll do later. To the Pokemart because I need to stock up on stuff. here to buy. Alright, 10 of these, so we're getting a couple more of those. We're getting some more of these, absolutely. We have enough potions and super potions. Get a few hyper potions. And get a few revives. Don't think we need much else. And I don't have anything to sell, unfortunately. Let's see. Pokemon. Vulcan is holding an ember. So as long as he's in a fight, we should be good. So we're gonna keep him up. But yeah, no, our schedule. So let's go is happening. It'll likely be around 4 to 5 more sessions before that is done. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do red because I do not feel like dealing with the master trainers in Let's Go. But everything else we'll be able to do. I might show off Melton and I might show off Melton and I got that already. Melton and Mew, maybe. But we will be catching Mewtwo. I will be showing off Flying. Rave Robin. But yeah. So Let's Go will be going for a few more seasons. Let's Go as the game, our recording, is absolutely ending in June. I don't want this going for more than half a year. I think, yeah, we started in February, so technically it hasn't been going on for 6 months. Alright, and I'm Brian. We can do you, or yeah. So we'll likely actually they're both the same. So yeah, Let's Go is ending in June. Now, for what's the playthrough itself likely won't end until August. Like I said earlier, maybe August to December. For recording, what'll happen after that is we'll be starting the first 2 playthroughs that I won't be touching at all. So we need to just pray that everything works out correctly. But I think the first one we'll be doing is Dark Souls 3. That will be helmed by Joseph. That damn demon. He knows what he's doing, I think. The shrug. The shrug. So yeah, so that'll be happening, and then we don't own the game. We'll likely be doing it through PlayStation Plus. But another long-ass game will in fact be happening. Child will be playing Persona 5 Royal. So that'll be something. Oh no, those 2 are going to be long as hell too. I mean, I don't know about finishing, but I think we can get a good amount through both of them by the time summer's out and Child has to. I think that is a good assumption. You know, assume because our sessions are 3 to 4 hours usually. You know, if at least with my games, if I know that we're not going to get anything of use done. Ooh, okay. So there's 80, but there's no power. No power. It does taste the berry. I kind of keep that. So I can change it later. Money. Got an adrenaline orb. So yeah, Dark Souls will be the first one we do. I can't wait for that one. I usually, whenever we stop a session, if I know that there's no way we're going to be doing anything of note or making actual progress in the time we have once we get past 3 hours, the thing is, I don't know shit about either of those games, really, so it's going to be entirely up to those two to find a place to stop. I think they'll do fine. But yeah, so that'll be happening. The thumbnail work for that's going to be interesting. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with this. Hoping we can rock slide eventually. That's crazy how you took half damage from that and still lost. Alright, preschooler taken down. Now, if I remember correctly, this was around the time when I would stop. There's usually like a point in the game where for whatever reason, it's just like the worst feeling part of the game. And I think for me, it's around here, but the problem is, especially now, I'm not really feeling it. I don't know why I feel like that. Like, both my previous playthroughs, like, okay, I have played Sun and Moon a lot. I've played this cartridge, like, 5 different times, Moon 1, 3, and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I think both twice or 3 times. And consistently it'd be around here where I've stopped caring, but the thing is, I don't know why. Maybe I was burnt out. This was my favorite for a while, and I played a shit ton. But in terms of an actual reason, because like burnout has to happen for a reason, I don't know. I think it might be because all the character stuff is crammed together. And then there's going to be longer stretches in between all that now that we've gotten to this point. So I think that might be it, maybe. Maybe. If I had to guess. Oh, I'm confused. It doesn't matter. Bye. More money. No, I think I caught a gas here already. I might get we'll fight this girl. So yeah, Dark Souls. I don't know what exactly Joseph will do, but that's entirely his call. I'm just hoping that it's not one of the Let's Go where it takes fucking 4 solid months to get through. It shouldn't. I'm hoping it doesn't. Child is absolutely going to take that long, probably a minute. It just depends. Hopefully she can figure out what the hell she's doing, because she said she didn't watch someone play the whole version of Royale. Son of 5 Royal. She didn't watch that whole playthrough, but hopefully she'll pick it back up, maybe. Drill pack, we need that. One of these is getting removed for B class. think it might be bug. Much like Bug Bite, I love the secondary effect, but it's not worth it, really. There he is. Not yet. Same for you. Not yet. Okay. Yeah. Already? Good night time. I see dead people. Alrighty. Take you out. Bye. Spell tag. A hyper potion. Oh, Jesus, it's him. Oh, I see the sun starting to set. Yeah, there won't be much else to say until we get that. And I'm going to make an update video, likely late this month, maybe early next month, like June update video. But yeah, those will be started soon. Let's see, do we have anything else? Ooh. Alola Raticate. So Raticates are problems around the early mid-game. Mainly because they have like super fangs or some shit. Like half all of it in one attack. So well no, that was Hyper Fang. Super Fang is more problem. But since its current dark mode attack we have the bird. There we go. Alright, taken out. Let's see. Anything else? No, other than news being streamed when other than streaming news when it happens. Don't think so. So that's the Hano Grand Resort. We'll likely stop streaming out when we get there. Stuffle. No. Yeah, no, I think that was it for that stuff. That got powered up to 80 in recent gens. I didn't even realize that. Fishing. Damn it. See. Yeah, no, the thumbnail stuff for those two, maybe not Persona. I think I can get some stock art for both of them, maybe. Dark Souls, especially, is going to be interesting. Fuck! I didn't look at the level till after I couldn't move. Oh well. We got some trainers to fight around here, so we can't exactly spend too much time trying to catch stuff. And that was unfortunate. Real unfortunate. Again, like I said before, because these two are going to be essential in this upcoming trial. This stream actually might not be that long, because I don't see us taking it any more than another 20-ish minutes. Even if we do behave in paradise. We might not even hit 2 hours. That'll be cool. We will end before we get there. We'll end at the resort. So, is there anything else? I mean, potentially. You know, we got that channel stuff. There might be an update video. I've decided on not... Ooh, Gyarados. Okay. I've decided on not... on not streaming the rest of ZA. I decided to just record that at my own leisure. And if I feel so inclined, I will come and I'll make a video of it. Actually, the same thing's happening with the next raid because the next raid in Scarlet Valley is a rerun of the only raid that I've missed. Well, one of 2 raids I missed, but the only one I don't have. So I'm the only 2 that I missed in the original run that I didn't beat and capture for 7-star raids was, I believe it was one of the Pikachu anniversaries. Which anniversary was that? I think it was 3 years ago, like before the DLC for Scarlet Violet came out. And the Greninja raid, which was the 3rd overall raid that they did. I did capture. I did win against and capture the first 2, the Cinderace and the Charizard, but the Greninja, I didn't do it just for whatever reason. Well, I know what the reason was. I was getting destroyed and just literally just couldn't manage to get it. But it's getting reran soon, and I'll be recording that one, and likely I might edit it and put it out. So that might be a video soon. A lot of 5-star trainers love this thing because it shows up everywhere on the 5-star teams. Hey, now everyone's 30 or above. She's going to evolve soon at level 32, I believe, and... What level does Formantis become a Lamentis? I forget. I think that's also a 31, 32. But yeah, so that'll be happening. That video might come out. So I want to post that before the thing itself ends. So I'll draw the thumbnail forward and everything, which reminds me, a small note, I think they might have got rid of the thumbnail size requirement. Maybe. Because it never shows up anymore, and I haven't been looking at my thumbnail size either. Hold on, let me load up that. Just for a little bit. Oh, Cena wants to talk. Let's load up 32. What is 32's? 32's is 2 megabytes. What about 30's? 30's is 2.2. 29's thumbnail. 1.8. 1.4. They actually might be smaller than I thought they would be. Oh. They actually might be smaller than I thought they would be, which is crazy. But then there are some that are over, and I remember YouTube wouldn't let me do that before. Like, this one's 2.3, like 23 is 2.3, 24 is 2.2. 2.3, yeah. So I guess they might have loosened up the requirements for it. Yeah, we've collected 10% from so far, which means we can get the 10% form when we reach 216. I'll reach 16. 216 is the snowy one in Sinnoh. Yeah, I can't wait to go back to those places. Despite the fact that, barring Diamond and Pearl, maybe, the other ones won't be too far up on my regions list. I do like every region. As a matter of fact, a lot of the stuff that I mentioned wanting them to address is actually part of the reason a lot of those aren't that high. Like, I can deal with the way that the region is laid out, but like the actual Pokemon variety is something. Alright, I guess I don't really know what to say to you. Run this big. Yeah, so there's the gold ad. This one's the biggest problem. Likely because it can get out a flying technique. Oh. Okay. It's taken out. You cooked. It's not even a Splazzle yet, and we fought one like a few important events before this. That was a totem, yes, but still. Ash, you are an ass. Be gone. I couldn't extort her for money, but it is what it is. I bought all that stuff so that I didn't need to buy anything else, so we could, in fact, just take all this money. But yeah, no, my biggest problem with the earlier ones is the Pokemon distribution. Like, as cool as it would be to see, like, a totally reimagined Kanto, Johto, Hoa, and Sinnoh, and see them be a lot closer to what they probably should be, based off their real life counterparts, and not be, you know, as grid based, let's say, in terms of their construction. I don't really mind that they are. I think if they're going to do that MMO thing right, they might have to completely reimagine them. And I don't really think that matters, because realistically speaking, it would just be making it not as square. So, kind of like what Legends Arceus did with Sinnoh, but just not in the past. So I think like that'd be cool, but that's not really the main thing I'm excited for. The main thing I'm excited for is seeing how they do Pokemon and stuff. Even if not changing the distribution, at least changing what's there, like having everything, like having all the stuff related to all the Pokemon from those regions. I think with that, it would bring the actual regions total up to as many Pokemon that would be in a game, like in a base game now, where the base Pokedex is like 400 to 425, and then the DLC brings it like 600. That would essentially be where that would be. So I'm excited to see that. Hopefully they do that. I don't really have much to say for Legends Galar. I'm excited, just like with the other two Legends games. I have a feeling it will also be one of my favorites. I think I was gonna bring this up with Champions, but I think one of the things, like, I think I passively brought this up with Champions, actually. One of the things that I like about it is the fact that I'm going back to the Pokemon Center. I'm going back to the Pokemon Center. Actually, wait. No, I'm going back. One of the things I passively brought up and didn't talk about all that much with Champions is that it enables it being what it is, and then it eventually will have all the Pokemon in it. And will also likely eventually have like 66 battles, and hopefully it will have something akin to what I was talking about, that being a battle simulator. Hopefully maybe we can do that. But with all that, that will also allow for the main games to be a little bit more different each time. Part of the reason why things like the battle system didn't change all that much is because of the fact that they had their world championships and everything, and changing that meant requiring everyone to not only buy new games every time they announced and released one, but any change that was made required everyone to get familiar with them. Now, right? I'm not saying that newer games likely won't be at the World Championship. It's just like they're... I think if they wanted... I think the best way they could do that is by having the game still be there, but their main champion stuff be in Champions. Like the main championship stuff be in Pokemon Champions. But regardless, that means that now, if you want to just play competitive Pokemon, you just have a thing that has competitive Pokemon. Now they can do more shit in the game themselves, and essentially move. Like, one of the things I heard was that the battle system would be kind of like Legends Arceus. Now, I don't know what way they mean that. If they mean just the basic framework, so like, one-on-one, choosing moves with the buttons, not with the buttons, but choosing moves in the menu, having it all be button-based, and having like the ability to get jumped by multiple Pokemon, or if they mean like the turn order change stuff. I think I brought this up. On the lead up to the announcement and a little bit after. But if, like, we don't know if that means that they'll have the turn order stuff or whatever, I think it'd be a good idea for them to. Because that turn order stuff was actually partially why I think Legends Arceus is, like, in terms of turn-based battles, is my favorite of the series. Specifically because of the fact that it's a lot more... I like games where you have a lot more, I guess, agency in terms of the gameplay, and you do have that in normal Pokemon, but like, Legends Arceus is more what I like from my games, where I can influence the turn order, how many turns I get in a row, even if I can't just outright, dictate it, I can influence it. That's a wingle. Do I want this? No, I don't. Well, actually, I don't plan on using Vulcan anyway. So, we actually probably could. That's pretty cool. There's a crit. I see. Well, he objected to attaching the window, so that's, you know what, fair. But yeah, so I think that, and then I think there were some rumored stuff, like some leakers said the last time they talked about gameplay. The last they heard about gameplay was like you could hold a button to charge throwing Pokeballs and stuff. My thing with things like that is that I think Legends in and of itself, like the Legends series and the main series, should be separate in some regards, just to validate their existence, because part of the reason we even got here is because of people claiming that Pokemon was the same thing every time. Having both of those have their own identity and their own structural differences is important, so you can't just ape the entire Legends style and put it on the mainline games. As much as I would love that, because I just like the Legends style more, I think it's the best thing for everyone to just have them both be two separate things that take cues from each other. So having the throwing Pokeball thing is cool, but I just don't think it should be the whole thing. Like, especially now that they've done these ZA, I think there's more credence for being able to throw empty Pokeballs. Or not empty Pokeballs, but your own Pokemon's Pokeballs at things. And the way they did it in Scarlet and Violet was interesting. So like having that work as like a normal throw in a Legends game, I think would be great. And then keep the throwing empty Pokeballs to catch Pokemon in Legends. But of course, it all just depends on how they. Oh, hello. It all just depends on how they do that stuff. So either she knows and is playing along, or she doesn't know, and that's crazy. Oh, she stopped. Yeah. So I brought all that up because I like the idea of champions, and I think his execution was okay. Yeah. There's not really much else to say until something gets announced or they release an update for something. Nemi's just special. Olivia's here. There's a lot of talks about stuff that won't happen for like the next year and some change. Especially given like Legends 3 and Project Seed, I think was his code name. I think both Seed and Pocopia were originally parts of Gen 10, if I remember correctly. So those two are likely to be connected to Gen 10 in some way, assuming everything was completely overhauled from the ground up. So I'm excited to see, especially with Pocopia, I'm excited to see one of the ideas I had, which actually some people have stated online as well, is like Pocopia is the aftermath of what happens if we fail in Winds and Waves. So like it lends credence because we know that the gimmick is weather related, and a lot of the ruinous stuff in Pokemon Pocopia is weather related. So that makes sense. I'm just excited to see, what that would mean. But again, we won't be seeing Winds and Waves until for another, what? The next one will be in February, so almost, I think we're a fourth of a year away this year. So in another 9 months. Alright, let's get ready for this. I haven't changed her portrait in a bit, but now I have to. Starts off with this mask. This is a pure rock type. I was getting confused about Probopass. I think it's rock steel. I usually have a fighting type on the team, so it doesn't really exactly matter, but in this case it does. And that whole family gets electric types. I think it has spark. I kept the fish out of here solely because of the thunder wave, and I think actually it's a good idea. And rock types, they're known to usually have sturdy. That likely means that this next one will have sturdy as well. I think the only one is like in rock at the end. I don't think they use sturdy. Thank God. But speed time on this fucking thing. While that's happening, I'm going to heal. Can't kill me with this distance. I can use another one and be in the clear. I just need an opening to use a goddamn paralyzing cherry berry. Sturdy shouldn't activate ever, so might be good. Thank God they nerfed Sturdy. It was so annoying in the earlier generations. You know what? I think I'll let people evolve here, because we are pretty much done with the island. The very first thing we're doing is take our brain hits, so that we can do increased damage. Alright, it's rock type team move. Let's hope we live this. We should be more defensively oriented, but we're also not fully evolved, so it's a toss. It's a toss-up. Canine bastard. Oh! Damn. Someone's gonna have to get sacked. I'm sorry. Aha! Jesus Christ. Alright, we won. Gone. Yeah. Bird. Welcome to Kenya. And that's a complete dex page. My battle beats up. The temperature is 18 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Beak blast. Pluck. Pluck secondary is good, but I just prefer outright damage. There's no guarantee that anyone in the main game is gonna have variation on him. Alright, now Vulcan. And actually, the only thing that kind of upsets me is that I didn't get the chance to put Torcat on a portrait. Damn, taking a bit, but I got that. Alright, Incineroar. Toucannon. The whole team's not going to be fully evolved till like the late game, but, you know. And that's another page filled. This Pokemon is a violent, selfish disposition. It's not in the good, and if it's not in the mood volition, then really more than words. Ain't no words. Well, you're an ass. Darkest Lariat. Damn. You covered in dust and shit, you goddamn rock. We did it. Fish. This is actually legit just a fish. Nice. And then the Mantis. This fake fucking Mantis. Go. Alrighty. Yes. He obtained the Rockium Z. These damn dances, dog. All right. Now we have 6 secrets. Alrighty. So that is our main thing done. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. So, we're going to the Grand Resort, but I do want to do the Pokémon thing. Just because I get money. So, yeah, let's go do that. First, healing. Alrighty. Nice sunset tinting the place too. We're at 2 hours. Around here? Doesn't look like it. Let's see. See. I think there's an event with them later on in the game with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Another cell. Soda. I'm too busy. This. I think I can get behind the tree. Yep. There should be something around here. Yep, Pearl. I think there's sandy ghasts around here, so it might be a good idea for me to come over here and catch one. Well, that's not a sandy ghast, but that is a Pokemon, so that's... We're gonna forgo... We're gonna forgo the football and try to catch this. It's more powerful when you use a succession, so... I think it'll be ground type or... Yeah. Look at the sand. God damn it! Alright, well there's other ones. And either way, it'll be Pokemon I didn't have before, so... Oh, look at that. Get another chance at this. See, this seems like it shouldn't do that much. But every time it fucking kills it. Alright, assuming we get another one, we'll just... We'll just hit it the one time and then do the, net ball or something. That's assuming this is another Staryu. Okay, that's cool. This one's a higher level. Oh wait, actually. And of course this one calls for opening. Something here, but this might be a mistake. Right. Damn. Stay in. Thank God. That's another capture. Staryu's data added to the Pokédex. I just... Large numbers of these Pokemon make their home at the seaside at night. A strange red glow radiates from the center of the place. Okay. Alright, with that out of the way. Yes. Alright, I spawned 6 of them, so now I gotta throw 6 of them back, so we're just gonna start. Alright, so that's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Six. All right. Nice. Alrighty. So that's going to be it for this. Made some good progress. Got 2 evolutions. And I think we are lower on money, but we did buy some shit. And we got our Akala trial completion stamp. So I'm gonna save right here. And yeah, that'll be the end of the stream. That's about it. Have a good rest of your day.